What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be kicking off our ultimate 0-point workholding guide, which is a series of videos I'm putting together to help you at a very high level understand some of the most common 0-point systems that are out there and which one might best fit your needs. In this first introductory video, we're going to be laying some of the groundwork by defining what a 0-point system is, talking about the two main categories of 0-point systems that are out there, and discussing some of the criteria that I'll be using to grade these, as well as some of the criteria that I chose not to use for specific reasons. Let's get into it. Before we can get into the meat and potatoes of these systems, it's important to define terms. So what exactly is 0-point? Broadly speaking, 0-point is a work-holding system that creates a standardized, highly repeatable zero reference point on the machine table, using a combination of pull studs, knobs, or pins to pull the workpiece down onto a receiver, locking it into place with micron-level accuracy. In addition to providing accuracy and rigidity, 0-point systems also reduce setup times and provide opportunities for various levels of automation. There are two main types of 0-point systems out there. There's the grid system, which typically has a 52mm or 96mm spacing with 4 studs in a square pattern, and this includes brands like Lang and Fifth Axis. Then there's the non-grid or modular station-based systems that typically have a single central locating pin with a clocking pin, and this includes brands like Aroa and Shunk. 0-point systems can be implemented in a variety of ways to meet your needs, including single station, multi-station, some kind of grid pattern, or even various turning patterns. Throughout these videos, I'll be grading each system based on 4 main categories on a scale of 1 to 5: accessibility, versatility, automation, and X factor. Each category score will be a composite of its subcategories, providing more helpful information on what the product line has to offer and what its strengths and weaknesses are. Accessibility is broken down into 7 subcategories. Clarity of product offering, ranging from confusing to very clear. Information online, ranging from next to none all the way up to everything you need. Whether or not CAD models and drawings are readily available, and if you need an account to download them. The availability of pricing. Whether or not the product is supported in the machining cloud, whether or not the product is in stock, and what the level of support is from the company offering the product. Versatility is broken down into 3 subcategories. Configurability is meant to be a measure of how easily you can reconfigure the product line to suit multiple needs or expand on it in the future. Compatibility with other brands is important. Will you be locked into this one product, or will you be able to mix and match down the road if necessary? And then breadth of product offering. Is it very narrow, only a few products available, or is it broad? Automation only has 2 categories. What's the level of automation? Is there none? Is it semi-automated, or is it meant to be fully automated? And then, can it be manually now and automated later? X factor is just meant to be a measure of that extra something that certain brands bring to the table that attract customers. And it's broken into 3 subcategories. Is it cool might be a controversial metric for some people, but the reality is that the manufacturing industry has been struggling for decades to attract young, new talent, and we need brands that are going to get kids fresh out of college excited about machining. Made in the USA, I think, is an important one since we're focused on US manufacturing. This final one might turn some people off. Does Titan Gilroy use it? Now, I may not love Titan's style all the time or agree with everything he says and does, but he's one of the few people out there with a clear message about American manufacturing and wanting to bring manufacturing greatness back to our culture, reaching out to young people on YouTube. So I honestly think this may be something to consider if you're trying to decide what system to put in your shop. I want to take a second to talk about some of the categories I chose not to use, because these might raise some questions in people's minds unless we get them out of the way. So the first one is precision. I looked into this, and I know this is something that these 0-point systems brag about, but the reality is that they all have very similar precision, at least in their claims. They pretty much all claim 5 microns, and to be honest, I don't think the majority of the shops are really going to fuss over 5 versus 7 microns. So I just decided to make it a non-issue. There's no point in scoring a category if it's going to be the same across the board for every brand. The next category I chose not to use was rigidity or clamping force, although I will include it in my spreadsheet with each sample product. I just don't think it's the most important factor. The majority of shops aren't using giant 3-inch corn cob cutters on, 100 horsepower milling machines to hog heavy steel. So you're really not going to be limited by the rigidity of your work holding. To be honest, you'll probably be more limited by the rigidity of how you choose to implement it. The next metric I couldn't measure was quality because I don't have the ability to buy each brand, pit them against each other. And honestly, the reality is that most of these products are going to run for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of cycles without failing. There may be some clear differences if you held them up side by side, just in terms of workmanship and materials, but I don't think it's something worth putting in these videos. Market share, again, it might be important, although I would argue that information online, level of support, and all those accessibility categories that we already talked about are more important. Some of the smaller brands are more accessible, more willing to support you, even though they may have a larger market share. Some of the bigger companies with a huge market share could probably care less about your organization and what level of support you need because they're busy chasing aerospace companies. And then finally, price. Again, I will be doing a sample product from each product line, and I'll include pricing as much as I can find it. But these products all kind of fall into similar price ranges for each kind of family of 0 point. They vary a few $100 here and there, but the reality is price point is not going to be the most significant consideration when it comes to automating your shop. You're going to want the right solution that's going to make you money, keep your machines cutting chips, and you're going to be less concerned with spending a few bucks at the end of the day. If you're interested in these videos and you want to see what comes next, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and continue watching for more updates as we go along. Thanks.